Okay. So today I want to talk about two different philosophies on how it would be different to experience life on Earth. When you think about what sort of stops us a lot of the times from enjoying our life is we start taking it so seriously. But it's sort of a paradox, it's sort of ironic because taking it so seriously is what makes it so intense. So there's this idea of, in the spiritual community, it's this idea of evolving enough till you're connected with your higher dimensional self. I made a video recently about your multi-dimensional self. And there's this idea that once you connect with this eternal part of you, there's this idea that we all have this eternal part of us that's always okay. So you die and then you go back to this eternal part of you and you realize, oh, I'm always okay, I'm always here. So when you realize that you're ultimately always okay, when you come back to these incarnations on Earth, you have a memory of that, and there's like this eternal, indestructible part of you that's always okay. So when you realize that, these lives and these incarnations on Earth become kind of play. You're kind of like, everything's just fun. Everything's okay. Even if people die, your friend dies, your family member dies, you're all detached because you realize they're not really dead. They're always okay. So life on Earth just becomes just creating and having fun and having the experience of this life here on Earth. Sounds like a whole bunch of fun. But ironically, you have that philosophy and you connect with that and you live that, and then you realize you're also missing out. Because the other philosophy is, well, you must forget when you come into these incarnations. Why? If we keep incarnating, it's kind of a waste that we don't remember our lives. But the other philosophy is, well, you have to forget and detach from your past lives, and you have to forget that you're this eternal being, because that's the only way you can really take the game seriously. And that's when it's really the most intense and you have the most learning experiences. So there's always this irony and this paradox between the two. Right? Because it's just like a video game, right? If you're just playing around in a video game and you realize you don't really die and you have infinite lives, you can just restart the game. You don't take it as seriously. You're just hopping around, doing little random stuff in the game, but it's kind of like all just like fun and games. But if you just started playing this video game and you started taking it really seriously and you thought it really was life and death, you would have a really intense experience. But you almost have to forget that you're this eternal soul to have that intense experience. Because when you realize you're this eternal, indestructible soul, everything, you just don't take it as seriously, because it's just, it's all just fun and games and it's just an experience. So there's always this paradox and this irony between the two. And it's very similar like this with almost every philosophy and every approach to life. Even the idea of me making YouTube videos, a lot of the times we convince ourselves that what I'm doing is important. I'm making these YouTube videos to help the world. I'm doing my part. But the reality is the universe doesn't need you to do anything, because we're ultimately always okay. So me making YouTube videos is for myself, it's for my own experience. Even if I made a video reaching out to people saying that, if you need someone to talk to, I'm there for you to help. But even that is from my own experience, because you don't really need saving. You're ultimately always okay. But I put myself out there because it gives me the satisfaction of feeling useful, like I'm helping. It feels nice to help. It feels good to feel like you're needed, to feel like you're helping. It's a rewarding feeling. But ultimately, the things we do is for the experience of doing that thing. Because none of it is really needed. But it sounds sexy to say that it's neat. I'm needed. I'm needed to lift the vibrations of this earth. It's my mission. It sounds sexy. It's my mission to make these helpful videos and spread awareness to the world. It's just not needed. Ultimately, we're always okay. We're just having these experiences here on earth. But you do it for your own experience. You know? Everything we do is for the sake of experiencing it. Like, I wonder what it's like to save someone they're drowning in a river, and I jumped there, and like, wow, you had the experience of saving somebody who was, you know, and you did save them, and you had the experience of that, but they're ultimately always okay anyways. But that's the thing. If we truly realize how ultimately okay we were, it'd be hard to take anything really that seriously. If you knew that this was literally just a game, that there's an eternal part of you that is always okay, and we just come here and just play around, it'd be hard to take anything really seriously. You'd be like, everything's cool. That's why when you see somebody who looks like they're almost like, hey man, everything's cool. You hear like someone who's like apparently super enlightened, like, the world is perfect, the universe is perfect. And a lot of the times people are offended by that. They're like, how dare you say the existence in the universe is perfect and the world is perfect when there's so much crime and rape and killings. But that's not what they mean. They don't literally mean that all those things are great. You know, like killing and murder is great. It's just that when you get to that connection with the universe, with the source, and you realize that these are just characters we're playing in. The real part of us that's eternal and indestructible, that part is always okay. These are just characters we're playing. But it sounds crazy when you hear it, when you don't connect with that philosophy, because it's like, how could you say everything's perfect? All right? But when you forget about that and you're just really into this game, it becomes a lot more intense, because now it's like survival. I gotta pay rent, and like you get so overwhelmed with daily survival and daily things. You know? It's intense. And then there's like the mixture of the two. Because even when you realize that it's just a game and ultimately we're always okay, you can still feel a lot of pain even if you know that. Like, for example, what if you have someone really close to you who passes away? Even if you know that ultimately you'll get to see them again and we're all okay and the part of them that's eternal lives on, you still miss them. You're still sad that they're not here right now. So you can still go through a lot of pain, even if you know ultimately everything's quote unquote perfect and everything's okay. So once again, it comes back to this mastering this reality and understanding the two different perspectives. And realizing that you can still feel a mixture of both. You can still connect with the idea that ultimately we're always okay, but understand that we create these lives here on Earth, and for the moment that we're living them, they're as real as it gets. You can call these lives an illusion. You can, all these sexy, time is an illusion. These lives are an illusion. This is just an avatar. But it's still real while we're living it. These are real things. You have someone close to you that passes away. That's real. Even if you know that ultimately they're eternal and you can see them again at some point, they're gone from your life right now. These are intense things you can still feel. You can still feel an incredible amount of emotion and sadness and joy, even though you know this game is just some sort of game we're playing and it's all just an experience. So, in the end, it's still just understanding the two different variations and not getting so lost in a game that you're like, this is the most important thing. This game is... And like, because when you get too lost in that game, like you get tunnel vision and like, so you can play this game and feel it and feel the intensity that this game has to offer. But during those intense moments, you can kind of retreat and realize, okay, I know that we're all ultimately okay. I'm okay, you're okay. But this is an intense experience while we're having it. And it's up to every one of us to find that balance between understanding that it's just a game, but then realizing that it's a very real game with real consequences, and you feel some pretty intense emotions during this game. And that's it. That's the weird irony between the how attached to the game you wanna get. Because even if it is a game, it's a pretty damn real game and it's intense. And I'll leave it at that. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.